What's up, legal biters? This is our Barkada Style podcast where we talk about legal stuff while kumakain ng masarap. I'm Jasper.
And I'm Reggie. Welcome sa podcast na may sausawan at usapang legal. If you're wondering if lechon manok and rules of court goes together, yes, they do.
Actually, excited tong episode na to.
And joining with us today, we have our future lawyers, our brightest, most hardworking law students, our classmates, Jasper. So, please introduce yourself.
Sabi introduction pa na. Hindi kami na-inform. Sige. Hey, Phil.
Hey, Phil.
So, ako pala si Hayfield. Lives and Trees, Bidalvalle. Classmate ninyong lahat. At isa sa mga kakain ngayon. Kasi yun ang highlight natin.
Yes.
Sige, next.
My name is Sol. You can call me Sol. What do you call me?
Sol.
Yes.
Los.
Dito tayo.
Hi, I'm Rowan Arhila, and I'd like to change my name into...
Rowan May.
Okay.
Sige na, let's start.
Wait. Nag-start na ba tayo? Kasi si Karen nakakain na.
So, my name is Karen. Let's go! Let's eat!
Yes!
So let's start with segment 1.
Oh,
Ating
Segment
program. So first segment, name game 101. Kailan pwede?
Kailan ba pwede?
tomorrow.
Kaya pwede.
Pwede today?
Actually,
Pwede tomorrow. Go.
ito yung interesting fact yan. Kasi, Rule 103 provides na ang change of name, a petition of a change of name, can be done in court if there are particular bases. Number 1, if yung given name mo is obnoxious, yung
What do you mean by that? Parang
mo na, hindi mo na kayang i-bear dalhin.
Like,
Example?
example, doggy.
grabe naman!
Ano ba yung dogs?
Bibigyan ng pangalan
Bakit
ng
dogs?
doggy.
San Goku.
Pwede.
Naruto.
Diba? Yung mga derogatory pa. Ano ba bang mga ano yan?
Cute.
Cutie, oy, meron ganyang name talaga.
Bakit naging derogatory yun?
Bakit nyo kina-question?
Never.
Please.
Never
Never a question.
Yun yung 103 natin. Ang 108 naman is correction of errors. Ang pwede mo lang i-correct is yung mga typographical error, mga clerical errors na pwedeng mangyari sa pag-input ng pangalan mo.
Discussing about Rule 103 and Rule 108, right? Yeah, so it involves judicial change. You will go to court to change your name. Right? So this is, but remember guys, na this is for major changes only. So like for example, yun nga, yung binigay na sa atin kanina, di ba? Na derogatory yung name mo. So pwede ka pumunta sa court to change that. And also, when your name is ridiculous. Di ba?
Going back.
Yeah, play it out. Going back, so yun. Hindi lang for ridiculously named persons, and derogatory named persons. Pwede rin naman yung when you change your name for adoption. So you will go to court to change that. And also, when there is an intention to avoid confusion.
Support talaga yan. Diretso sa court.
Yeah. We will go to the regional trial court of the province where your
Document or birth
certificate is registered.
So that's for judicial, no?
Yeah,
For judicial.
So for example, ako, nagpa-register, nandito ako ngayon sa Jansan, pero yung birth certificate ko, na-register ako sa North Cotabato. So saan dapat ako magpunta?
Sa
Alam mo na
Hague.
yun.
Parang maganda magpa-change
Hindi, actually.
Malamig eh.
Hindi, actually, matatakal siya later.
Yeah,
Diba?
later we will,
Yes, oo. So anyways, alam nyo, itong rule na nakasite natin, rule what?
103.
It's really important kasi alam ko, syempre.
Wala.
Rule 103 103.
Okay.
In connection with Rule 108 and the rest of the Republic Acts.
What are the
Sige.
What are those?
Wait. 1948 and the other one.
Yeah.
So anyways,
10-17-2.
yes,
yun.
correct. Exactly.
Galing mo talaga
Exactly.
Balik talaga ni
Yes.
Phoebe.
So anyways, I would like to emphasize na the purpose of this rule. Kasi 'di ba, there are times na yung sa mga sa unang panahon, it doesn't matter kasi sa kanila. So kung ano man yung na-register na name doon, hindi yung gina-scrutinize pa talaga or gina-check talaga, 'di ba? Kaya lately,
Kasi wala na silang pakialam yan.
wala silang pakialam. Tsaka parang wala lang yun. Unang
Papel lang yan.
Doesn't matter.
Oo, it doesn't
Papel lang
matter.
yan.
Siyempre, di ba, may judicial. Meron din tayong administrative remedy. And that is yung RA 9048. Which includes clerical error lang. So, meaning, siguro, misspelled words, yung identifiably, na yung madali lang ma-understand na talagang typo lang siya, typo error lang siya. Siguro,
May
nag-exchange
emoji.
yung...
May emoji.
May emoji! Sol Aguilar.
Available na ba yun sa typewriter?
Yes.
So, kung gusto mong gawing Justin Bieber ang pangalan mo, so, dapat siya judicial and not merely administrative, right?
Jasper James.
Depende siguro kung anong unang pangalan mo.
Yeah, because kailangan natin maintindihan, we have to take note na ang administrative remedy na binigay ng mga special laws are for corrections of entries. Like, kung meron na misspell, pero hindi siya yung type na kung gusto mo lang i-change yung name mo just because you want to change it, hindi siya pwede. You know,
Yes.
like ano ba yung administrative, ano ba yung procedure? Yung
Judicial.
judicial.
Remedy.
Sige, Ro, go.
Ay, wow.
War.
Diba, idea mo yan?
Tulungan na kita.
Ganon.
Ganyan lang yan. Ganito kasi pag sinabi mong administrative, mostly ministerial na ang duty ng ating civil registrar. So,
What's
ibig sabihin-
minister? Yan, ginagdagan mo yung terms na ano eh.
Mister.
Sinabi mo
Ministerial.
local civil registrar naman yan. Kasi meron tayong office ngayon of the local civil registrar. Local civil
Saan niya
registry.
matatagpuan?
Depende na sa office kung saan ang
Pero basically,
within the city
Within
or
the
within municipality.
basically, if gusto mo mag-LCR, punta ka sa City Hall or sa Municipal Hall.
Oo.
So take note ha, the word LCR. Yan yung Local Civil Registry.
To the word LCR.
Thank you for that very insightful
Kagaling.
contribution.
Ginawang school naman.
Registrar.
So, yun nga. It's ministerial. So, pag pumunta ka sa kanila, meron ka lang fill upan, i-identify mo lang kung ano yung mga errors na makikita mo sa inyong records, and then, they can outright.
With regards to the outright na sinasabi niyo, okay ka na ba?
Oo, oo.
Sige. Administrative kasi is more like straightforward siya eh. Ang outright na sinasabi ni Phil is parang ganito.
Walang judicial.
May papachange ka.
kailangan.
Oo. May papachange ka.
Ganito.
Ganito.
Yan.
Kasi sa akin, may
May
mali,
props.
may mali sa akin, may mali sa name ko. Pero syempre,
Ay,
impliedly sa pagkatao, may mali din. Pero mamaya ka na red siya. So anyways, ito. If you go to LCR, tapos sabihin mo na, ma'am, may mali yung ganito ko, ganyan. Bibigyan ka nila ng ganitong form. Tapos i-fill in mo yan. Fill in, fill out.
Fill in.
Okay, magsulat ka. Isulat mo. So yun na, lagay mo dyan yung mga kailangang details. And then, marami silang mga requirements. So you have to obtain all this before ka mag-proceed. And
Hindi
speaking of,
nakacheck lahat.
kasi siya, hindi, ito yung kailangan mo i-obtain.
Like, sabihin mo, Doc.
Sige, sabihin. For example, in my case, mali yung, ang pangalan ng mother ko. Oo, ang middle name niya, naging name niya. So, nagka-exchange ba, gano'n, no? Tapos, instead na C, may T, gano'n. So, di ba, clerical lang siya? Typo lang siya, typo. So, pwedeng, diretso na ako sa NCR, hindi na mapunta ng court. So, anyways, ang mga ano
Yun
nila,
yung
So, for the
outright.
document.
yes, yun yung outright. Oo. Anyways, ito yung mga kailangan ng mga requirements. Birth certificate, baptismal certificate ko, tapos birth certificate ng mama ko, death certificate kung patay na. Pero syempre, buhay pa naman. So, ayun. Thankfully, buhay pa naman ko. Tapos, marriage certificate ni mommy at saka ni daddy. Tapos, birth certificate ng mga siblings ko. So, yun na. And mga valid IDs namin lahat. So, pag na-submit mo na ito, actually, bigyan ka nila nito. Hindi,
Actually, si Sol is nagtatrabaho sa LCR.
hindi,
Lagi
hindi.
ka na. Girl Scout. Girl Scout.
Hindi, actually, bigyan ka nila nito. Clear copy pala siya ng PSA. Oo, tapos, pagkakuha ko nito, doon ka lang nalaman na may mali rin pala sa pangalan ng papa ko.
Dami namang mali sa buhay.
Sino ka nag-register ng parents mo?
Yun, dyan natin makita. Ang informant dito ay ang aking midwife. Midwife ng mama ko. So, shout out kay Erlinda Aquino. Ay, ma'am, oo. So anyways, ang administrative is hindi siya costly.
Yeah.
So meaning mas
Mas
tipid.
convenient.
Mas convenient.
The purpose of the law, the legislative intent,
Yes.
Legislative
Bakit?
intent of those special laws na binigyan tayo ng administrative remedies is that para hindi na masyadong matagal ang process.
Yes.
Because there are transactions that requires na dapat dapat paspas.
Expeditious.
Paspas.
Expeditious term.
What a
Tapos,
word.
tapos syempre, di ba, when you go to the court, usually ang misconception is matagal,
Oo.
ganon.
Mm.
Tapos ang reality is, matagal na.
Yeah,
Kaya meron tayong
yeah.
administrative.
Kasi what makes it very matagal is dahil merong mga requirements yung judicial proceedings like
Posting.
posting, notice to the public, or we also have the publication pa sa newspaper of general circulation
Yes.
as deemed best by court. So yun, that's why nagiging matagal siya. So in your case, Sol, matagal talaga ba yan? But you resorted to administrative.
Yes,
Pero okay na
administrative
naman
siya.
ngayon. Okay lang
But
yun.
syempre, hindi pa. Iklaro ko lang.
At least we're at least good thing na we're talking about it.
Oo. Tapos, di ba, syempre sa judicial, matatakal natin later na sa when you go to court, syempre may publication. Mahal ang publication.
Yeah.
Actually.
Maliit lang na di ba?
Actually.
Maliit lang na portion ng newspaper. Magkano?
Then you will have to pay.
50,000? 15,000? Ganun. Pero yung sa akin, syempre, lang, makaabot lang ng, basta maximum ko na to 5K. Kasi syempre mag-acquire ka na
Lahat na yun.
ganyan. Lahat na yun. Ay, hindi siya, basta estimated, ganun
Yung
lang siya.
documents, yung preparation of
documents,
documents, yun lang. There's a relative law, or which it's better to say that amended 9048 or RA 9048. That's RA 10172. So ano ang gina-provide ng 10172? So it just expanded the scope
Of RA
na-
9048.
Yes.
Bakit before?
Kasi yung sa RA 9048, di ba, syempre, yung typo lang ng name.
Right.
Name, surname, gano'n.
Name
In certain documents like
And then
birth
in this special law,
Yes,
what happened?
before I go further. Huwag mo naman ako ginagawa.
Pakinggan mo muna.
Hindi, may lakad si Reggie. Pwede ba may lakad si Reggie, everybody?
Kalma!
Gutom na gutom.
Kalma. Hindi, ganito, Reg. Tumikim ka nito. Masarap siya. Masarap talaga. Masarap siya, actually.
Anyway, so going back to the
the board.
discussion. So, kana ko?
RA
Wala ka dyan.
117. So, sa RA 9048 or 9048 kasi, ang ginaprovide ng law doon is broad na corrections of entries sa birth certificate, marriage certificates, and death certificates. So dito sa RA 10172, what the law provides is that you can already change your date of birth and your gender. Pero hindi ibig sabihin na pinanganak ako ng January 1. Ayaw ko ng January 1 kasi magkasabay yung handa sa New Year at birthday. So i-change ko yung
So, hindi pwede.
hindi siya pwede. Of course, again, let's go back. You can show proof that it is a clerical error and you show those documents required by the local civil registry. Those documents na like school documents, medical records, and then if you can prove na ganito yung birthday mo, it appears in your public records na iba talaga may discrepancy. So, yes, you can go to the civil registry for that. And further, yung sinasabi ko na change of birth and gender, hindi nga siya yung gusto mo lang i-change. Yun nga, meron siyang error sa pag-enter ng details. And as regards the gender, sa gender naman, it must be a mistake na just because, you are physically and, biologically male. Pero ang nalagay sa birth certificate mo is, you are a female. So, if
And you
nagpapasal
identify
ka,
as a goldfish.
yes, kasi
Gender.
Recap.
gender and sa date of birth mo, you can only change the month and the date. Hindi pwede yung year because
Exactly. Oo. Yan.
Exactly.
And doon papasok yung example ko. Hindi kasi, di ba sabi niya, month at saka day lang. So, hindi kasali ang year.
hindi.
In my lola's case, which is
Real
pending
life.
siya sa court ngayon, somewhere sa province.
But you cannot disclose the proceedings because it's subject to sub judice rule.
Yun.
You're just
Yeah.
trying to give
So,
an example.
mali yung, birth year. Year ito. So, hindi siya pwede na punta ka lang sa LCR na ipa-change ko po ito kasi typo po, ganito, ganyan.
No.
Lalo na, yung year niya is malayo ang difference. Oo. So, hindi siya considered na typo.
Yes.
Or,
Why is it not considered a typo? Because magbabago na kasi yung age mo. Change mo
And it becomes a substantial change.
Yes.
Substantial.
Yeah, in some aspects of our society.
Yeah.
Yung mga official transactions. Mas essential din yung
Kasi
age.
ngayon, diba, like what we've mentioned kanina, lahat talaga, halos lahat ng mga official transactions or business transactions natin, for example, with the banks, with our schools, with those na kailangan ng mga personal information, kailangan talaga yung birthday.
So, wait muna.
Ay, wait lang. Wait lang.
Before mabusog si Karen, we have a game. So,
Gusto ko
ang
yan.
title ng game natin is, hindi ba ako mahal ng magulang ko? And then, you decide if it is obnoxious and sige, I will read some of it. Drink water, B. Rivera.
Drink
Drink
water.
water,
Kasi
be.
River yung apelyido niya.
If he or she can prove na subjected siya sa ridicule, binabully siya, then he or she can change his name or her name judicially. Pero if okay lang naman din sa kanya, that's a unique name,
Yeah.
you can accept that.
If it puts you into the spotlight, then why not?
Sincerely yours, 98 Pascual.
Yahoo Mail!
Kulang na lang ang underscore, no? Sincerely yours, 98 underscore Pascual.
At gmail.com.
I mean, if it's not embarrassing or ridiculous, it's too lengthy.
Parang
It is
Mansa.
sincere.
Ano? Not Mansa kasi 98. Ano yung 98? Ito. A relative din ata to ni Pascual. Spaghetti 88. Pascual. Revisa. Spaghetti 88.
Wait lang, saglit lang ha. Are those real names sa Facebook?
Yes,
Parang random
they are real
talaga?
names. Nasa balita yan. Ang kapatid ni Spaghetti 88, si Macaroni 88.
Wait, see, we are laughing at those names. So,
Diba?
diba?
Subject na siya to ridicule.
But no offense ha, kung kanino man tong name mo.
Spaghetti
okay.
Spaghetti, Macaroni.
Macaroni!
If you're
Masarap
watching.
ka na dyan.
How do we know if pupunta tayo sa civil registrar or sa RTC?
Para mas ma-simplify siguro natin, pupunta tayo sa court if ang change of name is subject to ridicule,
Yeah.
if it is obnoxious, if it is a consequence of a legitimate na a legal concern. So for example,
concern.
for example, nagpakasal ka, tapos meron kayong legal separation, or judicial declaration of nullity of marriage. So ma-revert yung pangalan.
Given na i-adapt mo yung surname
Surname
ng
ng
Oo.
so you-
So in those cases na it is a subject of judicial,
Judicial proceeding.
It is a consequence of legal or legal.
Exactly. And then, if yung pangalan mo rin is causing concern or confusion, di ba? So, pwede mo din siya ipa-change judicially.
Yes.
Yes.
Because the main, parang pinakapunto ng judicial proceedings is na kailangan mong i-prove.
Yes.
Which is, hindi na ganun ka stringent pagdating naman sa administrative.
Yes. So,
Okay, so to sum the administrative procedure in changing the entries or correcting entries, so ano ba ang dapat gawin?
Ano ba ang dapat
Ma'am,
gawin?
sir, ano ba ang dapat
Ano nga
gawin?
ba?
Oh. So, ito lang yung overview. And disclaimer lang, if you are confused, you consult a lawyer. Then, yan pa rin ang the best. Pero ito, this is an overview of the procedures kung anong dapat gawin. So, you must comply with the documentary requirements. Ano ang mga documentary requirements? First, we have the affidavit explaining why the LCR should correct the entries. Ano yung mga grounds mo? What are the facts and circumstances surrounding your petition to change or correct your entries? And then next, you have to provide your government-issued IDs or documents that would prove that there is, in fact, discrepancy sa mga sa birth certificate mo or your official documents with the LCR. So, if makita yun na merong discrepancy, say for example, sa age mo, sa date of birth, makita yun na iba yung entry ng birth certificate sa mga official or other official documents. So that would lead us to the third step, evaluation of the LCR na. So dito, they would process all the documents you submitted, and then they would decide if it really constitutes discrepancy or it would amount to correction of entries. especially grounding on those enumerated earlier. Merong proper and reasonable ground. So ano ba yung proper and reasonable ground? These are to avoid confusion, for correction of mistake,
Yes.
and if it is embarrassing, only if it is a consequence of a serious social problems. Hindi lang yung embarrassing siya on your part. Okay, like hindi lang yung, nahihiya ako sa pangalan kong, ano ba, Jasper.
Sorry mo naman.
Jasper Ryan.
So, yeah, it should be embarrassing as a result of a serious social problems. So, yan.
So, ito question. Do they
Huwag
have
na mag-question. Bakit just
Ito. Do they have to exhaust all administrative remedies before they can proceed to the RTC?
So, for the benefit ng ating mga viewers,
Yeah.
well, it's not necessary na you have to exhaust the administrative remedy because, again, this is a special proceeding. So, you are asserting what?
Right, the
Status.
Right, and a particular fact. So, you don't need to exhaust all administrative remedies. If you ought to go to court, which is, sino naman ang practically resort sa court?
As long
You are
as it's a proper venue
Yes.
for the petition.
And yeah, it's
Alam mo
its
naman
importance.
And actually, sa reality, in real life bitaw, for example, punta ka sa LCR, tapos, ay ma'am, ipa-change ko po yung birth year ko kasi mali. They will actually tell you na it's not the proper venue
or
to ask for that remedy. Ma'am, kailangan mo po yan
I-process sa court.
i-process sa court. Kailangan mo po petition sa court niyan. So, ganun.
For our next segment,
Kaya ba?
it's called the Juris Talk,
Ah,
where we talk about the landmark and relevant cases.
Itong Silvery versus Republic naman, mas interesting to kasi this is about a transgender.
uy.
Okay. So, basically, may isang tao, lalaki,
Biologically male.
yeah, biologically male, yes. Nag-undergo ng sex change. Right. So, nag-develop na siya ng breasts, nag-develop siya ng features na isang babae. Now, for the sake of marriage, and this is the kanyang purpose na naka-indicate sa kanyang petition. For the sake of marriage, nag-petition siya na i-change yung kanyang birth certificate from male to female. Consequently, yung pangalan niya din, pinalitan. So, the RTC ruled in favor of the petition. I-grant. Ngayon, we've established kanina na during these petitions, the state also has a party. So the state, through the Solicitor General, filed a motion for reconsideration and a petition review.
Anong rule?
65. Yan, it's a question of law, pare. So nagkaroon sila ng review, petition for review. Itong kanilang grounds is the ground na mag-change ka ng gender on the basis of, for the purpose of marriage, a valid ground for the petition, for the granting. Yung sake of marriage alone. That is not a valid ground na palitan yung kanyang sex. Because they also said na itong ating mga certificates of live birth, as they explained, is a historical record of our birth. So meaning, yan, nandiyan nakalagay kung ano talaga yung ating pagkatao nung tayo ipinanganak. Kung kailan, anong pangalan na ibinigay sa atin, kung anong ating gender or sex. So this cannot be a subject of a petition based only on the desire of the petitioner. So since hindi siya valid ground, they move to dismiss the petition.
Right.
Okay, that's very interesting.
At doon actually tinatapos yun. So,
For many trans Filipinos, our name and gender are like what we said kanina pa is very relevant when it comes to transactions with banks, with our schools, diba? Mga relevant transactions ng ating day-to-day lives. Yeah, and the thing is, our laws right now, diba, as of this time, wala pa talagang major development as to the change of our gender marker, as what they call it, depending on our gender identity. Kasi diba, ngayon, mas I don't know if the term is proper, if we say na nako-complicate. Kasi originally, syempre, meron lang namang babae at lalaki. Eh ngayon, marami ng mga gender identification. And our law, siguro, they recognize it, but still, as of now, there's still no
Not to the point
solution, diba? Kung paano talaga natin yun gagawin na ma-change yung gender mo based on how you identify.
Which reminds me na ang ating ground din pala para mag-change siya, for a valid change, is dapat it cures a confusion. However, in this particular case, nga sa Silverio na kaso, the Supreme Court also said that instead of curing a confusion, nag-cause na tuloy ng confusion if i-grant nila.
Yeah.
And for that additional reason, again, denied yung
Yeah.
petition.
So this is an actual, this is yung sinabi ni Phil, this is an actual pronouncement of the
Supreme
Supreme Court.
Based on truth na.
Yes, na according to the Supreme Court, if we grant them, we grant them na just for that reason, mag-change sila ng name or gender, so it will cause confusion according to the Supreme Court. So for me, medyo, I don't know, this is not part of our topic, pero medyo late pa siguro tayo in terms of our laws in recognizing those genders.
That is
So-
why there's growing support actually to modernize the family code and the civil code. Pero syempre, not yet as of the moment. Pero there's growing support for that.
To supplement the discussion, I guess it's one of the considerations and very important considerations kasi if it would be allowed that genders or any form or any points of identification to change easily as
Lahat
that,
pwede na.
it could be a subject of fraud because in some cases, like say for example criminal cases, you would identify the suspect as a male or a female, and then what if
Babaeng lalaking naka-black.
since maka-change naman siya ng identity, he or she could easily change
Yes.
it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
correct.
Oo. And speaking of identity recognition, there's another case, actually, disclaimer lang, this is not a Supreme Court case, but a
Ano yan,
legislative...
lupong barangay?
Barangay po. Anyways, this is a legislative inquiry lang. Pero actually, there's a lot of discussions in here. Not just in this case, but actually madami na din. But to cite one, there's this Jeffrey, originally Jeffrey. And then, into Jennifer Laude. But, syempre, as of the moment, sabi nga sa discussion natin kanina, di ba, there's no law yet.
Wala pang system,
Wala
pang law.
Yes. Wala pang specific law recognizing the gender change legally.
Yes.
Oo.
Parang we are on the crossroads between the tradition and modernization
Yes.
of our perspectives.
That's why I think this also tackles important discussions about the SOGI Equality Bill.
Yes.
Like we should, recollect or revisit that bill.
Lalo na ngayon na pa-modern na,
Yes.
di ba? There are
Hindi naman
rights
kasi
na.
mapipigilan yung... Di ba, the only thing constant is change and you cannot stop that. Kasi lagi naman nag-evolve talaga ang
And it's already there.
Yeah, ang law is... It's already
Pero
there, it's just that there are many loopholes. Yeah, there would be many loopholes and many consequences. That's why hindi talaga siya... As of now, wala pa talagang firm na batas.
Anyway, we're on our 5th segment.
Yes.
So, we have a game.
Game tayo.
We have a game. So, sagutin nyo kung pwede ba or hindi pwede. Wait, baka may phone kayo.
May phone kami.
Kasi andito sa natin sa script.
Oy. wala kang phone.
No, hindi, walang kidding.
Maniniwala kayo na may script to.
No script!
Scriptless.
Pwede ba or hindi pwede? Palitan ang pangalan kasi di mo type.
Of course, hindi ba?
Depende.
Wait lang, busy ka pa.
Hindi, as a general.
Depende. Wait, I want to hear Phil. Depende. Bakit depende?
Depende, kasi yun nga, if that name is obnoxious or ridiculous, kaya hindi mo siya nagustuhan,
Pwede
Kapag ito, hindi pa talaga natutunan ng viewers, ewan ko na lang talaga sa inyo guys.
ilang beses na inulit eh, di ba?
Yung obnoxious.
Actually,
Obnoxious and-
8 na yun.
Ridiculous.
8 na yun.
8 na yun.
Obnoxious and ridiculous.
Nine na yun.
Ito. Typo sa birth certificate.
RA 9048. Yan.
No, hindi
Hindi
pwede yun.
Bakit? Unless,
Kasi, di ba yun na nga yung discussion.
Unless clerical error lang talaga siya.
Unless clerical
Na, male
error.
talaga siya, tapos
you want to
na-female siya.
qualify.
You said kasi transition. When you're in
Sorry.
transition. Galit ako, like, tapusin ako.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, like, we have to take note of that. Transition.
Meaning from one gender to another.
Yeah.
Like, meron siyang nag-undergo siya
It's a
sa process.
So if that happens, no. Hindi pwede.
No.
Wala na.
No.
Wala naman
Pwede
kami
yan.
sinasabi na you can't do that to yourselves. But the law provides na you cannot change your gender sa mga documents mo just
You can
because
do that to yourself, hindi sa birth
Under
certificate.
You can do that to yourself, pero not sa birth certificate.
What a very
Really?
So, 2025.
very new wisdom.
Ano that's from Jasper. Anyways,
Ito. Last one. Gusto mong palitan ang iyong surname at gamitin ang surname ng adoptive dad mo.
If you
Pwede.
with the court approval.
because it is a consequence of a
Illegal.
Legal.
consequence.
Yan sinasabi ni Phil kanina.
Yes.
Yes.
Kung nakikinig kayo.
So, can I change my name in my birth certificate after a sex change?
No.
Currently, no. Unless clerical error nga siya. Like what Roan had mentioned kanina sa RA
10172.
172. Oo. Like clear discrepancies with medical records, ganun. So, currently, no.
Here.
So, after change of name, may I use that name to marry immediately?
Once the decision is final and it's registered, then
Wait,
you have to become your
It has to
official
be
name, di ba?
it has to be annotated first. With
Yes.
the records in the civil
It
registry.
has to be
Yes.
final and order that is registered with the
Yes.
LCR. So, last segment.
Wow.
Masarap pala siya.
Masarap. Ganda yung question.
Dahil busog na si Karen.
Basta na rin kaming lahat.
Busog na din si Sol at si Rose. Before we end our podcast, we would like to magpasalamat sa inyong lahat.
Actually, salamat. Sa amin dito.
Salamat.
Sa pag-prepare ng food. Thank you very much.
Sige na Sol, tama ka na Sol. Sige, okay, final takeaway.
So, as a final takeaway, your name is your identity, but the law protects that identity. Kaya kung gusto mo magpalit ng pangalan, make sure to follow the right legal path.
Tsaka yung main takeaway ko sa podcast na to is that if you're going for a judicial route, yung changes or yung correction must be substantial. And then if it is simple corrections lang, you must go to or you must avail administrative remedies. So dapat legit.
Yes.
Yes.
Oo. Exactly.
Correct.
Thanks for tuning in to Legal Bites, your legal tambayan.
And if you want more legal chismisan na may kasama mukbang, subscribe to Man's World.
Yeah. So,